It's funny too because I was recording with Nick DiGilio this morning, and he swears like crazy on his podcast. I try not to because I don't want to. I don't want to break.
You don't want to break the internet?
What's funny is Patty Vasquez does a live stream thing every Friday. Swears like crazy.
I'm not live streaming.
What's that?
I'm not live streaming it, but like.
Oh, okay.
So
this is just before YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. Is yours loud enough?
Yes. These commercials crack me up.
What's that?
The commercials crack me up. I'm so jelly of your unicorn phone case. I would be jelly.
Oh, there's still plastic on here. There we go.
Whether you drive a car,
need a car,
or just occasionally bum a ride with friends,
you've come to the right place.
Join Jill and Tom as they break down everything that's going on in the auto world.
New car reviews,
Shopping tips,
driving green,
electric cars,
classic cars,
and plenty of great guests.
This is the Consumer Guide Car Stuff Podcast.
All right, this is the Car Stuff Podcast. I'm Tom. She's Jill. Thank you for joining us today. When you get a chance, check us out at consumerguide.com. While you're there, check out back episodes of the podcast and our 2025 Best Buy picks. Jill.
Yes.
Jill, North American Car of the Year juror, what is it? No. Freelancer and
managing editor
of Pickup Truck Plus
yes.
SUV Talk. I had that all.
You totally had it all.
I was distracted because I have a new watch.
Okay.
Put it on out of the box today.
Oh.
And it looked really foggy, and then I realized the plastic was still on there.
Okay.
On the glass, on the crystal, and I realized this as the intro was rolling.
And you did it. I'm like, snap.
Yeah.
I'm like, pay attention here.
I'm easily distracted.
Clearly, squirrel.
All right, quick birthday wishes to my mother.
Ah, happy birthday, Mom.
I made a mistake. I said she was 113 on Facebook. She's 85.
That's kind of a big mistake.
Yeah, 85 is still a good number.
That is a great number.
Hitting the big numbers. Happy birthday, Mom. I guess now we have to address something we're not going to talk about this week.
Okay.
Yesterday, or was it Saturday, the Trump tariffs on Mexico and Canada went into effect.
Yes.
And there's absolutely no way to know what this means for the auto industry. And in fact, I think industry leaders have avoided talking about it because there's no good plan.
No.
It's what's the word I'm looking for? Idiotic. And
tell me how you really feel.
After the stock market plunged 600 points today,
yeah,
Trump reversed the tariffs on Mexico. But
well,
Canada
they reached a deal.
Yeah, whatever.
Quote unquote.
I don't really care what the real story is. It's just all crazy.
Yeah.
But the Canada one is still in effect. So if the world runs out of Pacificas, that's why.
Or Toyota Tacomas, or
yeah.
I think Ford Maverick is built in. Well, Ford Maverick is built in Mexico. It's like Tacoma's built in Mexico, but yeah, there are things that are built in Canada. There are things that are built in Mexico.
So I didn't want to talk about this too much, but draw your own conclusions. But Tesla would be among the companies least affected by this, because as we know from our conversation with Cars.com,
mm-hmm.
they are among the most American vehicles.
That is correct.
So they are least challenged by sourcing things from across borders.
And I wonder how this would affect something like Honda. Because if looking at the American-made index, like Honda vehicles are very Americanly made as well.
Right, Honda and some Toyotas. And
right.
And the question is, how much of their stuff can they source, the stuff that does come from Japan?
Right.
Like hybrid systems tend to come from Japan.
Right.
So there could be a shortage of we'll see what happens. Could be a shortage of hybrid systems. I don't want to dig into this too much right now because it's crazy.
Yeah.
And anything we say now will probably change in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, and I feel like we'll probably have a much better
handle
on it next week.
I hope so. I need this to blow over.
Know.
I don't want this to be what we talk about.
For the next 4 years? No, me neither.
And if it doesn't resolve quickly, it will be what we're talking about, because there's going to be shortages not unlike what we saw during COVID.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's just go with the good news. January car sales were strong.
Yay!
I don't have details yet, but those will be rolling in this week.
Okay.
I am driving the Ford Explorer ST.
Okay.
2 funny stories.
Okay.
One, the delivery company that dropped it off asked that I take good care of it and that I return it to them with less than a quarter tank of gas. It took me a moment, but I figured out why.
Okay, why?
It's going to the auto show.
Oh.
And you can't park your car inside with a full tank of gas.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the ST,
Take good care of it, definitely.
there are just 4 trim levels now
Mhm.
per U. I think we talked about this earlier. Just 4 trim levels. What are they? There's active, limited, or platinum, and ST, and what's the mid trim level?
I can't
The
remember.
volume.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
ST gets you the big old 3-liter twin turbo.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of engine. I like this car very much. It looks great in red. The interior is great. Ride and handling are great. But this engine is bugging me. There's plenty of power, and it makes a great exhaust burble that doesn't sound too fake, and it's not too loud. So a lot there to like. But low power, low speed power delivery, wonky. There's no idle creep. And when I hit the gas, I get a surge of power I don't expect. So a little hard to drive in parking lots and in town. So I want to talk more about this car because I really like it otherwise. But
Okay.
I think I like the 4-cylinder better for that vehicle.
Okay.
All right, Acura. Build predictions.
Okay.
The ADX.
Yes.
That's their new coming small vehicle.
Yes.
Very small.
Yes.
Going to be a price leader, probably start around 30 grand. They're expecting it to make up 20% of all their sales. Now that sounds good, but there's only 5 Acuras, so that seems appropriate.
1/5 of their sales.
And one last story that I stopped reading just because I got a headache. In automotive news, Audi discussed the fact that Audi is going to simplify its naming strategy.
Okay.
I don't know how they could possibly make it worse.
No, and I don't even know how they could make it better at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. e-tron is their electric vehicle at the moment, but then they also have different odd numbers for some electric vehicles. And then there's things like TFSI, and there are 2 levels of TFSI for most cars, which is the gasoline engine power outputs, 45 and 55 typically. It's all very confusing.
Yeah.
And I went through the lineup, and there are Audis I didn't know existed.
Such as?
Like sportback versions of certain electric vehicles. I'm like, oh, there's a Q4 e-tron sportback. News to me.
Okay.
But it's just like the Q4.
But a sportback. Yes.
So there it is. Audi might win the award for most confusing naming nomenclature in the U.S., which is amazing because BMW and Mercedes
BMW
giving them a run for their money. Although at BMW, at least the core naming structure makes pretty good sense.
Yeah.
Like it's just the
1
the
series,
subsequent
2 series, 3 series.
Yeah. And things like X-Drive 45i and things like that.
I know. Like trying to do a review of one of those vehicles, it's like I can't get it out of my mouth because it's just so long.
You know, once upon a time, if you drove a 633i, it was a 6 Series with a 3.3-liter engine. You just knew that.
Yeah.
None of that's true anymore.
No, it is not. I was doing a buying guide for car gurus on the BMW 7 Series. And, back in the earlier generations, I was like, oh, this naming structure actually makes sense.
Have we talked? Yes, it used to make sense.
Yeah.
Have we talked about the numbers on the back of Cadillacs?
I don't think we have. Or if we have, it's been a while.
If you follow a Cadillac, at least a Cadillac crossover, on the back, on the right-hand side, somewhere on the tailgate, is a number.
Okay.
450, 500, 600, something like this. That number is the torque output in Newton meters rounded up to the nearest 50. Which, who is that useful to?
Not anyone normal. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. Scientists, maybe?
Oh, man.
Car nerds? I don't know.
That's what that is. They're still doing it as far as I can tell, and I don't know what it gets you.
Yeah, nothing.
All right. We should talk about the Toyota 4Runner.
Yes.
And we should talk about it because, like the Tacoma, it's been basically the same forever.
Like 14 years.
Yeah, like 100 years, whatever.
Yeah.
My lifetime. Yeah, my mother's lifetime. But people have loved it that whole time. And that's key here. The reliability, the torque, the off-road ability. People have totally The snow ability.
The
like,
snow ability.
Like 4Runners
yeah.
crush it in the snow.
Yeah.
Or they used to.
Yeah.
So they've been redesigned. You drove the redesigned vehicle. Your review lives at consumerguide.com.
It does. Yes.
But tell us about this vehicle. So this is their midsize crossover. That's sort of, it's in the lineup parallel to the Highlander. But the Highlander is a refined on-road family vehicle, and the 4Runner is a crushing rocks off-road ready. If the apocalypse is coming, put some money down on a 4Runner.
I would say that is correct, and I would probably go for like the definitely one of the off-road like TRD off-road, probably premium, or the TRD Pro version.
Now there are like 38 trim levels now.
Yeah, they kind of went a little bit OTT, over the top.
I mean, they're going to do some volume, so they can do that.
Yeah.
But why are there so many trim levels?
They did the trim levels. So you've got like SR5, so that's going to be your base trim, and that has a 3-row option. So it's the gasoline models that have the 3-row option. The hybrid models do not have a 3-row option because of the battery pack under the floor, just to make it possible. And so the SR5 is pretty straightforward, cloth seats, not a lot of technology.
And that has been their base trim level nomenclature for a very long time.
Yeah, and then you kind of you level up into like the TRD Sport or the TRD Off-Road, and they kind of add some features, but the technology is still like relatively low tech. You have an 8-inch an 8-inch screen
instead of the bigger screen,
instead of the big like 14-inch screen.
Yeah.
And then you have the TRD Off-Road Premium, the TRD Sport Premium, and that's where you start to get some of the more technology with the 14-inch screen, the better digital display, a lot of like the cameras for off-road and around view,
which are cool. We have pictures of those on the website.
Yeah.
But your situational awareness seriously heightened with this generation.
Oh yeah. So I did a tech check on my own YouTube channel of this vehicle because
how does that help me?
You should have watched it. That's how it would have helped you.
All right.
So I did a tech check because the previous generation of the 4Runner was very, very low tech. But you have the capability in this new generation of no tech, SR5, or the TRD Off-Road or TRD Sport, or all the tech. And so 14-inch screen, around view cameras, side view cameras, so the off-road versions of the vehicle, so TRD Off-Road Premium and then the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter, will give you, what do they call it? I think it's like trail mode cameras, or there's something where when you're in the low range, the cameras will pop up and it will show you the side as well as the front.
Where are those cameras? Are they in the side view mirrors?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, but what I find really interesting, and this is one of the things that was kind of annoying to me on the 4Runner, is the fact that the camera shut off at about 9 miles per hour. So when you
mentioned that in your review.
Yeah. So when you're off-roading, I mean, you're generally going a little bit slow, but you're going to come to a faster patch at some point, and then the cameras are going to shut off, and then you're going to come to this, huge hill or, off camber or something, or, decline, and you want the cameras again, and then you're like, shit, where'd the button go?
I wonder if you swore.
I did.
I'm wondering if the cameras is to keep your eyes on the road forward at that point in time. Like if an important safety decision was made.
Oh, I'm sure it was. But by the way, like if your nose is pointed to the sky, looking forward does not help you. I literally was driving a TRD off-road non-premium version, and I was driving with my head out the window because there was some places on this off-road course that I was trying to make sure that like it was so narrow and the side of the road like dropped off steeply on either side of the wheel, and I couldn't see where my wheels were, so I was literally sticking my head out the window to make sure my wheels were not going off the road.
Funny thing about that, and we're starting to see this disappear, but Land Rover, Range Rover vehicles, the driver's seat is positioned closer to the door than you would expect.
Yeah.
Because they want you to be able to stick your arm out and lean out and look at the placement of the front wheel.
Yep.
And it's more on Land Rover products than Range Rover products. But still, it's an interesting thing. And it is a tool that you have when checking that out. Talk about, you mentioned Trail Hunter. Where is it? So you have all these TRD models.
Yes.
Which TRD gets you more off-roady stuff. Although the first TRD trim level.
TRD Sport. So like
that's just
essentially there's
stuff, right?
there's two I would say that the 4Runner branch, it branches off. So you've got the more of the luxury lineup. So you go TRD Sport, then you'd go into the Limited, and then they have, I think it's the Platinum as the top tier trim. Or you go TRD Off-Road, and then TRD Off-Road Premium, Trail Hunter, TRD Pro.
And TRD Off-Road gets you some serious stuff.
Yeah.
And then Premium is just nicer. And then the brand new Trail Hunter is expensive.
And it has...
And is it like basically TRD Pro luxury?
I would... It has a lot of aftermarket accessories on it. And I couldn't, I'm using my phone to record this right now so that I can do this for video.
You just
so
dropped
I can't,
an S-bomb and we're on camera.
I know, that's fine. I swear. So I can't look it up on my phone right now because it's doing double duty. But there's some aftermarket. I feel like there's some ARB things, and there's a snorkel, and the Trail Hunter, I believe, is supposed to be the more off-roady version of.
Even more.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so that's your peak off-roadiness.
Yeah, we're gonna get a whole bunch of angry emails. You're wrong. But that's what I'm gonna say right now.
Speaking of which, totally off topic. I still got almost no word on my Tesla piece. Like no one wants to talk about it.
The Tesla Rowdy are ignoring you.
They are. Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
But
instead they're attacking me on TikTok, but that's fine.
Back to the 4Runner. Got expensive.
Yes. So the base price is about $41,000. And I will say...
The what price? I'm sorry?
Base. So SR5 without like any options or anything is about $41,000. But yeah, it goes up pretty quickly from there.
And you're well into the 60s loaded up a Trail Hunter. Do you get to 70?
You come very close to 70.
I think you get close.
Yeah.
And then new engines.
Yes.
The beastie old Giant 6 is gone.
Yes.
And people love that for the easy low RPM torque.
Yeah. Well, yes. And what I want to say is nobody's going to believe me, and people are going to fight to the death that the V6 is better and the V8 is better than that. But these turbo 4-cylinder engines are really good. And the hybrid iForce Max is, if you're going to be doing a lot of off-roading and you need that low-end torque, like that's the one you want.
I just drove the Tacoma with the same engines. And I found that actually quite adequate at low speed. So, and my fuel economy was better. I don't remember what it was, but Tacoma used to get pretty bad mileage, and Forward had terrible mileage.
Yeah. And and when you do a first drive of a vehicle, it's really hard to say, oh yeah, and I got 28 miles per gallon or whatever it was, because you're idling, you're driving weirdly. So I couldn't tell you what our actual fuel economy was, but I thought it was comfortable. I like the tech. I think it works really well. You can have it, you can not have it, but it has the new Toyota infotainment system, so you can have it tell you a joke. But you can also say things like, I'm cold, and it'll turn up your heat for you.
Well, that's nice.
That's nice.
So real quick, if you are a guy who lives in the suburbs, don't really go off-road, but you think you want something kind of manly, and you're trying to decide between a Highlander and a 4Runner, how do you advise
4Runner.
that person?
Manly 4Runner.
Yeah. But
I'm like, come on, there was no stutter.
All right, it's manly. It seems silly to do it. Your mileage is going to suffer. Your insurance may go up, but it is probably. I'm assuming that the 4Runner will live on to be as stout and strong and durable as the old one.
That would be the hope.
Yeah, I mean, Toyota's legend is something very important to them.
Yeah, I mean, they've been having some troubles recently with Tacoma and with the Tundra, but I think they've worked out those bugs.
But in the case of the Tundra, that is primarily that engine deal.
Yeah.
The big V6 engine deal.
Yeah.
All right. Did we talk prices? We did.
Well, a little bit. Yes.
All right. When does this bad boy go on sale?
Imminently.
And I did have one last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How in the lineup is this positioned against the Land Cruiser?
I haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm getting ready to do a spec-to-spec comparison.
Yeah.
And there is no spec sheet for the Land Cruiser. So I actually have to go dig around and research the information rather than just doing a comparison between spec sheets.
Do not trust Google AI because it gets that stuff wrong.
Yeah, it does.
But the interesting thing is that the Land Cruiser came down in price. It seems to have come down a little bit in size, but it's still in the lineup. Mm-hmm. And its position against the 4Runner is weird, and I don't know how it plays yet.
Yeah, and I don't think that the Land Cruiser gets a 3-row option.
I don't think it has a 3rd row, and I think it's more expensive.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely clear on how it's more luxurious.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
So 4Runner on sale soon now. You just said that?
Yeah.
Starts around $40K.
Yeah.
Good off-road.
Yeah.
Lots and lots and lots of trim levels.
Yes, lots of trim levels, lots of tech. I can't speak today. I have a little bit of a cold. My brain isn't functioning.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we talk to James McKay of comparethemarket.com.au.
Yes.
Calling in from Australia.
Yes.
All right, we'll be right back.
Mm.
Oh, we're on camera, and I'm yawning like a...
That's okay.
It is funny to watch Patty Vasquez, because
Mhm.
she usually live streams her show,
Mhm.
and some caller goes long. You can actually see her just rolling her eyes like, oh, I don't want to cut this guy off, but I got to cut this guy off. I don't think Steve and Johnny ever do live. Maybe they can't from WGN. I don't know.
Could be. That reminds me, I need to message them. They reached out to me via text while I was at home this weekend with my mom.
Oh, something about having us both on at the same time to talk about the auto show.
Yes, and I need to reply.
So they just had Jennifer on. Oh, speaking of Jennifer, oh, that's not Jennifer. It is Jim O'Brill on the male voice.
Oh, craft beer tasting. You know, I've never been to the Friday night flights, and I would like to do that at some point for the Chicago Auto Show.
I actually never want to drink a bunch of different beer. I just want to drink one beer.
Okay. I want to drink all the beers.
Oh, also, because oh.
Oh. The commercial.
It's Robert Colangelo.
Colangelo. Mm. I'm like, here's to hoping it's still recording. Looks like it.
It's nice. He mentions me in the ad.
Awesome.
I'll try to get his Camry, our Camry review for a bonus episode. Oh, I forgot. We surge of new listeners.
Yay.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Car Stuff Podcast.
We are back. This is the Consumer Guide Car Stuff Podcast. I'm Tom. She is Jill. Jill, how's it going?
I'm a little bit under the weather this week.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You warned me about that.
I did.
Encephalitis?
I have no idea what it is. Just a little bit of a cough.
Well, I'm sorry you're sick.
Yes, thank
I
you.
still need your help.
Okay. Oh, yes. You need my help because you would like me to intro your social media.
That's right.
Yes, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it in one. I got it in one.
I am on both X, Twitter X, and Blue Sky.
Yes.
That's where I do the car stuff.
Yeah.
Car Guy Tom. I'm just me on Facebook. People can follow me on Facebook. I don't do a lot of car stuff there. I do share pictures of my test cars, though.
Yes.
And then I mentioned the Nick DiGilio show. I'm on there once a month. New episode drops tomorrow where we talk about TV stuff.
Okay.
And I'm a sucker for classic TV. Right now, as you know, I'm watching Adam 12.
Yeah. Yes, I do because you like the cars.
I do. They're fantastic. Even if you don't care about the show.
Just watch for the cars.
Just watch for the cars. And California in the late 60s, early 70s was just a wonderland of crazy cars. Lots of things like Porsche 914s, crazy Datsun 510s, modified stuff, little pickup trucks. It's very cool.
Okay.
It's fun to watch.
I will trust you.
All right. On the phone with us is James McKay. He's from comparethemarket.com.au. James, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Tom. How are you?
I am good. You're calling from very far away. We appreciate the effort. Tell us where you are and what time it is there.
So I'm in Brisbane at the office, and it is 7:23 in the morning on Tuesday,
Ouch.
4th of February.
You're calling from the future.
Yeah, doesn't seem any more crazy than the present.
Well, that's good. The present seems a little weird here in the U.S. right now. I don't know if you know our tariff.
Anything can happen.
Yes, anything can happen. Exactly. James, tell us a little bit about comparethemarket.com.au.
We are an insurance comparison website and service. So if people want to try and find a better deal on things like car insurance or home loans or health insurance, they can come on our website. Obviously, you have to be an Australian. We're an Australian business. They go through the service and they can get prices and they can purchase to save some money on regular bills.
Very cool. Now, you guys just did some research and you shared that with us, and we're going to share it with everyone now. But you guys looked into searches for automotive brands by country. What inspired you guys to do this?
Yeah, about 5-6 years ago, we were looking at some interesting stories, and someone in the team had the idea, hey, what if we find like the most Googled car brands in the year? And Google Trends can capture that data and it categorizes them, and you can, play around in the data to check which brands are the top brands for different countries. And so we just started reporting on that over the years, seeing which brands are the top brands for each country, which brands have the most countries where they are number one around the world.
Interesting. Now, the first one we've got here is Australia. Tell us a little bit about the Australian market, because I don't think most Americans know what brands are available in Australia. And I know that Holden pulled out, I think it was 3 years ago now. So General Motors no longer has a presence there either.
Yes. So we did lose Holden, I guess you could say. It was an iconic Australian brand of, I think, that General Motors and Vauxhall group here down under. We do have Ford. That's been a fairly popular brand between them and Holden. It's kind of like different sports teams. People, barrack for each brand. What's really popular are Japanese and Korean car brands. So there's lots of Toyotas, lots of Mazdas, lots of Kias. And we do have some European brands, and every now and then you'll see something like a hypercar, a sports car, if you're in the big city near the bougie parts of town, like Ferrari, but it's mostly Toyotas and Mazdas and Kias, and lots of SUVs, midsize SUVs, and what you guys call pickups, we call utes.
Yep, utes.
Right.
Love utes.
Yeah, they're very popular here. And then there's a bunch of also small city cars. We're seeing some Chinese cars start to become a lot more popular. So brands like BYD have started to go big in here recently, and there's some other brands that have been entering the market this year and last year as well.
So what is the most searched vehicle in Australia?
We looked at brands in particular. So the most searched brand in Australia is Toyota.
Okay.
And it's been that way pretty much ever since we've looked at the data. It's a very popular brand. It's got a great reputation. They're very common down here in the market.
I was living under a misconception that Mitsubishi had a big presence in Australia, but I'm not hearing that. Is that the case? No, not much Mitsubishi?
No, yeah. When I said Japanese brands, I forgot Mitsubishi.
Oh, okay.
It's just when we look at for example, through our car insurance data, like the most popular cars are Toyota Corollas, Mazda 3s, and Toyota Hiluxes and other ones. But then you see Mitsubishi Tritons are in the top 10. So yeah, Mitsubishi is still around.
And Triton is compact truck?
Yeah. I'm like, two of the things that we can't get here, the Hilux and the Triton. I'm very jealous.
And that's one of those, here in the U.S., those are things that people clamor for.
Right.
Although that's just loud people who may not buy them.
Fair.
We've talked about this, how Americans always say they want brown station wagons with front-wheel drive and a manual transmission, and then they wouldn't buy them when they actually got here.
That is true.
Yes.
A small segment would, but yeah.
We've seen a couple American big pickups becoming popular as well, because we love those utes and those big cars for carrying things and people around. So we've seen like Dodge Rams, Chevrolet, I think the Silverado.
Yeah.
And the Ford F-150, I think they were having to, they had to do a lot of work to move the steering wheel, because you guys have it on the left and we have it on the right. So they had to get another company to sort of switch it out before they could then sell it down here.
General Motors, after they shut down Holden, went with a new division. It's not really a division. It's just kind of a sales channel through which they're moving the Silverado, the Corvette, and I think the Escalade. down in Australia. It's a very limited menu of things. They're very expensive. I don't think they go through a traditional dealer network. But I know they tried that. I don't even know how that's working. But you guys get the Corvette down there, correct?
Yeah, Corvettes is their own brand, but not very common.
Yeah, I would imagine not. What about the U.S.? What are the top searched Googled brands here in the U.S.?
In the U.S. specifically, we saw it used to be Ford for years was number one, but in the last 2 years, it's now been Tesla.
Interesting.
So Ford is the second most searched brand, and Toyota is the third this year in the most searched for America.
That makes sense. And I noticed nowhere on your list was Chevy anywhere in the world. Very popular here, but I guess it just doesn't show up globally.
I think, hang on, let me check through the data, because there was one or two countries that had Chevrolet as their number one. That was Chile in South America.
Oh, I did see that, which is very interesting. Not Brazil, not Argentina, but Chile. Yeah.
Yeah, Argentina and Brazil really like Fiat.
I don't understand that.
They're small.
And speaking of North America, Tesla was big in Canada too, correct?
Yes. So Tesla has sort of taken North American market, except for Mexico, where Nissan was number one.
Which is interesting. Although I've been to Mexico and rented a car, and Nissan's everywhere. And they're like versions of the Sentra, which they give a different name to it. It used to be the Suru, I think. But yeah, interesting. Here's one that took me by surprise, and I never would have guessed this, James, and that was China.
Yeah, no, BMW's been kind of popular in China over the years. Now, we do have to have a caveat that this is from Google Trends data. And when we looked at the number of searches from China, it's actually quite low in comparison to the population of China. So this is probably because of China's firewall that actually doesn't allow regular Google search.
Oh.
This is essentially people getting around the firewall or using a VPN and what brands they're looking for. So there is a little caveat there for China that obviously we would expect some of their local brands to be very popular. But we can't actually capture the full data set for that country.
So, James, for what period of time is this research?
So this covers 1st of January up to 1st of December.
Oh, recent, very recent.
Or 1st of December from the year before up to 1st of December. So it captures a full year. Whenever you go through Google Trends, like later on, because the data is always being updated, it can change over time. But because we searched for it at the start of December, and it goes back from 12 months, and you get that full year.
I ask because there's been this wave of nationalism in China, and we've seen brands like Volkswagen and General Motors, Buick, and Cadillac brands really slipping in China, and I didn't know if that was the same thing was happening with BMW. I do know that BMW very much an aspirational brand there, and German brands are sometimes regarded differently and of being of higher quality and prestige, but interesting to me that BMW is still on the list.
Yeah, but again, because it's actually a smaller subset, we can't be 100% sure just because we can't get through that, the Chinese firewall and how they block.
Yeah, that's interesting. Whatever we got, though, that's interesting. So here's one. If I read the map correctly, and I'm terrible with globes and maps, Russia. Russia is, what's their favorite brand?
At the moment, their favorite brand in terms of Google searches was Tesla as well.
Wow.
That boggles my mind.
Yeah. I could hear a bunch of reasons here, James. I don't know that they have much of an EV infrastructure, so charging seems like it would be difficult. Teslas are expensive, and this isn't really a great time to be a consumer in Russia. Or
a consumer of American goods in Russia.
Yeah. And then I guess I should know this, but I don't. Does Tesla have an actual sales channel there?
Not like an immediate one off the top of my head, but they are around in neighboring countries.
Okay.
And so there might be possibly imports and stuff from like Scandinavia as well. So I should say that this is necessarily what people are buying. This is what people are Googling, what people are searching for.
Yeah, so they're aware of this stuff. Yeah.
South Africa, Tesla was in their top 3 despite not being for sale. And there's like very little, if any, electric vehicle charging infrastructure in South Africa. But I think just because of what the brand is doing, people are like Googling it, people are searching it upline, they're showing an interest. And Russia previously their top brand was Toyota, probably because it's, so dependable. But it's the last couple of years across the world, Tesla's really surged up from being very low in these results that we report on, and they've really climbed up in the last couple of years.
South Africa is one of those places like Australia where the American makers used to have fantastic market-specific models that almost looked like you were having a weird dream because they looked a little bit like American models, but they were different, sometimes smaller, and there's nothing left there anymore. They used to build cars there. BMW still builds cars in South Africa, though, I believe.
Yes, and they are the number one brand in the past, and then Toyota overtook them a couple of years ago. But BMW is still the number two brand in South Africa.
And then looking at your map, and again, I'm terrible at geography, but Western Europe seems to be dominated by two brands, BMW and Toyota.
Sorry, Tesla. I think Toyota is a different color on the map. So what we see with a lot of European countries is either BMW or Tesla. And in the past, it was either BMW or Mercedes-Benz. But Mercedes-Benz has kind of taken a bit of a dive in the last couple of years as Tesla has climbed up.
Yeah, they lost the luxury battle here in the U.S. as well last year. BMW is the best-selling luxury brand in the U.S. right now. And then finally, James, one more question for you, and I appreciate your patience. But Africa, the continent of Africa, seems to be dominated by Toyota. And then there was another brand in black, and I didn't know what that was.
Black is empty. That's where we weren't able to get some.
Oh, okay. That's why I couldn't figure it out.
That's why you couldn't figure
Probably
it out?
if I was good with asterisks, I'd know that.
Well,
That's all good. So, we saw lots of Toyota across Africa, and there were a couple where Tesla was the most searched.
Interesting.
But again, because they're not really for sale, we suspect it's just because of the brand's popularity and how it's dominating the news space. Then that's what people are searching for, not necessarily what the most selling cars in those countries.
Yeah, I mean, the population generally doesn't own cars yet in Africa, and every 5 or 10 years, some futurist will make some news and tell you that Africa, specifically some of the bigger northern, like Nigeria, countries up there, are the up-and-coming markets in the world, and then that never happens. Were there any other brands that kind of stood out in Africa?
So we saw Audi and Fiat are in the north of Sahara, where we see Libya and Algeria. But I'm just not sure which one is which, looking at the map.
Fiat kind of makes sense. Fiat makes just pretty good at getting themselves into small and mid-sized markets, and they're pretty affordable vehicles too. Audi surprises me.
Yeah, so Audi was Libya and Fiat was in Algeria. That's the most searched brand in Google.
Interesting. Well, this is cool stuff. Do you guys intend to do this research again?
Yeah, we really enjoy covering this story. It gets a bit of attention when we pitch it out across the world, but it's just fun to, see what are the top brands, what are the brands doing, and we go through looking at, what are the things they've done this year. So we saw the new models that Toyota's come out with. Tesla had their sort of big showcase this year with some interesting stuff. Not sure, how far away that is. With the robo-cab and that very Art Deco looking bus.
I forgot about the bus, yes.
Well, what I think is really interesting about this study and the data is that these are all brands that we here in America are familiar with. Like, I guess there was a part of me that thought there would be something on here that would be like, what in the heck is that? But like, the stuff that I guess it brings home how small the world really is. And, what we're looking at here is what the world is looking at there as well.
Were you hoping Peugeot would pop up?
I don't know.
Because it didn't.
I like to say Renault and Peugeot, so that would have been lovely if either one of those had popped up.
Actually, I'm surprised. I think it's Dacia, the Renault bargain brand that's big in Russia. I thought that would pop up, actually.
Yeah, they popped up in some of the sort of second place, third place for some parts of Europe, around Eastern Europe, like Romania, and they just never took any top spot. So we've counted the top number one most brands.
Cool.
Most search brands.
James, if people want to find out more about this list, what can they do?
So if they come to a website, try and go through the URL, comparethemarket.com.au /car insurance /features /most searched car brands 2024. So that's where we have the data and the methodologies all listed down below. If they want to check out our website and see other stories that we do, we cover a lot of car stuff and all sorts of things like travel, pet stories, and some fun data-driven pieces.
And we will be linking to that,
Yeah,
so
we'll
people
link- yeah.
don't have to
Too much to remember.
Sorry, it is a bit of a long
No problem. We will link to that, though.
We will make sure we link to it.
On Facebook and on our
That would
show
be
notes,
fantastic.
which you can get to through Facebook.
Yeah.
All right, James, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Hope you guys have a great afternoon back in the past.
Well, thank you. You too. All right, that was James McKay with comparethemarket.com.au. We're going to take a break, and when we come back,
Quiz time.
quiz time. That was fun.
Yeah, well, and I always find it interesting. Like I said, that I kind of expected to see something weird in the data, and you
Yeah,
Toyota.
I might have expected like Dacia to show up,
Right.
or maybe Fiat did show up. But maybe in Western Europe, maybe Vauxhall.
But no, I mean, and the fact that Toyota is so dominant, I mean, it makes sense. But obviously, you didn't drill down into the models, but I would be very curious, like which models people are looking at.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are a surprising number of people in America who are looking up the Toyota Hilux.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Forbidden fruit.
Oh, this is Jim O'Brill.
Mm.
I'm going to start making fun of dead people.
That would be very mean of you.
There's a Trump update here.
Ugh.
Trump places tariffs on Canada for at least 30 days. F. There's a lot of parts that come with there.
Welcome back to the Car Stuff Podcast.
We are back. This is the Consumer Guide Car Stuff Podcast. I'm Tom. She's Jill. And that is Steve King on guitar.
Yes, it is.
It was fun to have him here in studio, air guitaring to his own music.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, he and Johnny were here.
That is a nice tune.
Yes.
He gave me an album of 10 tunes that he'd never put anywhere that I actually plucked that from and got his permission to use. Jill, you like to talk social media.
I do like to talk
Yada,
social
yada,
media.
yada.
Yada, yada.
Blah, blah, blah.
Whatever. So I'm trying to shorten it to say that I'm on all the things. But I am. I'm even on Lemonade.
I don't know what that is.
No, not many people do. It's also owned by ByteDance, the same company that owns TikTok.
Uh-huh.
I downloaded RedNote recently and that's like the other Chinese like video kind of app where a whole bunch of TikTok refugees went.
Just moving to Blue Sky for me was an event that required therapy.
Yeah, no,
I can't imagine having lots and lots of outlets.
Well, I keep downloading the things because I'm wondering what's going to stick. Like when I first downloaded TikTok, I didn't know if that was going to stick or not, and then it did. But I have a presence on most social media, and you can find me at Jill Simonello with the hashtag car du jour. If there's something out there that people are using that I don't know about, like I would love to know about that.
Well, TikTok did basically give credence to the short video,
Mm-hmm.
the vertically oriented short video.
Yes.
Which on Facebook, I just get videos of fat women falling on the ice. I don't know. that has replaced the boat accidents.
Okay, well, that's one leg up. I clearly need to start.
And there are a lot of legs up.
I clearly need to send you more cute cat videos. I will work on that.
I would like cat videos.
I will
Anything
send you.
non-political. Cat, and a lot of these
send you
things
more
are
cute.
staged, which is irritating.
Yeah, no, I will send you more cute cat videos.
All right.
Because both of my sisters have cats. I get a lot of cute cat videos.
You know what else I'm getting? I'm getting video of really large boats leaving dock, kind of cool, and videos of rare trains on bad tracks. And that's also cool. These appeal to me.
Okay.
I don't need to see the old fat women falling on ice. Because I'm like, did someone call an ambulance? She's hurt. This person is hurt.
I get cat videos and I get exercise videos.
Oh,
And
don't want
a
that.
whole bunch of running memes.
Dear God.
I know, because I'm a runner. I get a whole bunch of running memes.
Did you get through that whole social media thing?
At Jill Simonello, hashtag car du jour, all the things.
All right. Do we need to talk about the contest? We should probably talk about it.
Well, it's a fake contest. It's kind of a contest.
No,
You've
you're
made
calling
it a
it
contest.
fake now. You agreed to the contest.
I did. Well, just
You
because
believed you were gonna
wanted
win the
No, I
contest.
did not believe it. I never thought I was going to win the contest.
All right. Well, it's 373 now.
Okay, and I have no idea how many I have.
Yeah, less.
I do not have 373.
You have fewer. Yeah.
Blue Sky is what he's talking about, in case anybody is wondering.
You're going to be buying me lunch.
Whatever.
Someplace nice.
No, it's going to be like vegan and gluten free. That's where I'm taking you.
That can be nice.
Okay, that's fine. Gluten free. Sad food.
All right, it's quiz time.
Okay.
5 questions plus a bonus question. Bonus question always related to the topic of the day. You need to get 3 total of the 5 plus 1 for a victory.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Today's topic, and I'm sure you saw this coming.
No, I'm sure I didn't.
Ford Ranger or Porsche 911?
Because they're so similar.
Yeah, basically the same thing.
Basically.
I'm going to give you a stat, fact, or color, and you need to tell me which vehicle that is correct for.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Super simple.
Not that simple.
Lugano Blue. Is that a Porsche color or a Ford Ranger color? Porsche 911.
My instinct is to say Porsche because Lugano. But that sounds more Italian than German.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Germans really like Italians. I don't know.
Do Germans like anybody?
Good question.
Speaking as a German.
I know, speaking as a German and speaking as an Italian here.
Yeah, I generally don't embrace the public. Regardless of nationality.
You're shy and you're a hermit.
I'm shy. I'm retiring.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. You're a fading flower.
Yeah.
Or frail flower.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Ranger.
Nope, that's Porsche. Oh, Jill, you have no points.
Oh, your
You've got to write
phrase.
that down here. No,
yeah, no points.
This is a nice pen. This is my Stephen Johnny pen.
Ooh.
129-inch wheelbase. Ford Ranger or Porsche 911? 129 inches. I did inches with the two little dots.
Hash marks?
Yeah, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Apostrophes?
I never look at wheelbase numbers. And I'm definitely not familiar with Porsche.
Wheelbase, if you're irritated.
Sounds like you're getting
Gonna
ready to
need
spit.
an answer. 129. The silence is funny because of the music. Otherwise, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say 911.
Nope, Ranger. The 911, shockingly tidy. 97 inches.
Ooh.
Which is, I think, less than the wheelbase of my 85 Scirocco. That's how tidy that is.
That is tidy.
Yeah. We can glean from that. The back seat's not especially useful. Jill, you have no points.
I have no points.
I'm
in danger here.
You're in danger.
Danger.
You need to get 3 of the next 4. The next one is 3-liter base engine. 3-liter base engine.
I don't.
Ford Ranger or Porsche 911?
I can't remember if there's a 3-cylinder in the.
Not 3-cylinder, 3-liter.
3-liter. Oh, 3-liter.
Yep.
Base engine.
3-liter base engine.
Mm.
That's 3 liters of displacement.
Right. I thought you were.
I don't feel like
I heard 3-cylinder.
I don't feel like explaining what engine displacement is, but it gives you an idea of how much.
I heard 3-cylinder, not 3 liters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
BMW had a bunch of 3-cylinder engines. Mostly in minis now.
Yeah.
Gonna need an answer.
I know you are.
Yeah.
I feel like Buick had a 3-cylinder.
They do.
And
then Vista and what's the other little one? Well, those.
GX.
What?
GX.
Yes.
Encore GX.
Encore GX. Thank you.
Okay.
I was never going to get that. Need an answer.
I was just talking about that the other day, so that's why I got it. Okay, so 3-cylinder base engine.
3-liter.
You're
having a bad day.
I am. I need more tea.
Uh-huh.
All
right, this quiz is getting long.
Oh, we've got 10 minutes. You're fine.
But I want to talk about something else.
Of course you do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Ranger.
No, Porsche.
I am just
the Ranger base engine is a 2.3-liter turbo that it shares with the Mustang base engine.
Right.
The Porsche 911 is offered with 3-liter flat sixes, all
Yeah.
turbocharged, or 3.7-liter flat sixes.
Okay.
3.7 are applied to what they call turbos, though everything is turbo.
Okay.
But that's a legacy name. All right, you have no points. You need to get the next three. You need to run.
I need the bonus points.
And I don't know about the bonus question for you.
Okay.
You have no points. Number 4, Velocity Blue. Ford or Porsche?
I'm going to say Ford.
It is. All right, that one was easy. You're on the board.
I'm like, that one sounds familiar, and I'm going to say Ford.
This one's trickier. Available Bang & Olufsen audio system.
I think that's also Ford.
It is. Yep. It's available. I forgot the trim level, but it's standard. It's not available as an option. It comes standard on higher trim levels.
I feel like Porsche has Burmester.
Burmester is available. Bose is standard.
Okay.
Or no, Bose is also optional. I don't know what's standard. I think it's just the Porsche. Sure, yeah. So in the Porsche, the Bose is $1,600. The Burmester, also available in Mercedes, $5,600. It's a pricey option.
It is a pricey option. I have to tell you, I am not an audiophile, but I have recently started getting into some of the audio systems that, like, from Volvo and from even Nissan. Nissan has the new Klipsch audio system.
Volvo systems rule the world.
Oh my gosh, that one. I mean, but the audio systems, like doing the demonstrations and listening to like the speakers in the room versus the speakers in the car, it's fascinating. I'm working on getting us a guest from Klipsch to tell us how he tunes the sound in vehicles.
Is Klipsch an independent brand, or is this being handled through the Harman
I think it's through
family of brands?
Harman.
Okay. And we learned a little bit about this. Like these are licensed, but Harman claims that manufacturers work with them to meet the standard of the brand. We hope that's true.
Yes.
We assume that's true.
Yes.
And they charge money for that.
Yes.
All right, bonus question time. Are you ready? You need this one.
Okay, I need it.
Wimpy restaurant chain established in 1934 in Bloomington, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Is now huge. Are you ready?
Okay.
In South Africa. There was a Wimpy in Woodfield Mall. In Woodfield Mall when I was a kid. I went there a couple of times with my mom. It was a counter service place, but they were famous for their hamburgers. Anyway, they're big in South Africa.
And Wimpy is from Popeye, right?
Yes, I believe they actually used that guy as a logo for a while.
Okay.
But yes, Wimpy was a Popeye, and he was into hamburgers.
Okay, yes.
So, all right, here's the question for you. Which of the following is not a Wimpy menu item in South Africa? This should be easy for you.
Super easy.
South Africa, like Rolling Meadows, Illinois.
Exactly.
Yeah,
just
culturally,
like it.
same place.
Culturally, same.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
The creamy peri-peri chicken livers, the sweet chili chicken schnitzel, the bangers and mash, or the Chicago-style hot dog. One of those is not on the menu.
Okay, that seems a little bit obvious there.
Does it?
Yeah, I think it. I mean, does South Africa know where Chicago is?
We know where Pretoria is.
Do we?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're into music, you know about Pretoria.
Yeah, I'm not.
All right.
I don't. So I would say read through them again.
Yep.
Chicken livers are a bad thing.
The creamy peri-peri chicken livers, the sweet chili chicken schnitzel. By the way, I love the word schnitzel. Bangers and mash, the Chicago-style hot dog. Now, you got the issue with the Chicago thing, but bangers and mash feels like kind of a bit of a...
That's very Brit.
Yeah.
That's very... But see, I would say that bangers and mash, I think that there's a lot of people who are British who maybe went down to South Africa and vice versa.
Well, they did.
So I'm going to say bangers and mash actually is the most logical thing to be on the menu.
All right. Want me to check that off for you? You're saying that should be there?
That should be there.
Right.
And I mean, I guess chicken livers doesn't really surprise me. Once upon a time, they used to have chicken livers on the KFC menu.
Well, I thought they had... No, I'm thinking of... and we have Brown's Chicken around here in Chicago. And they used to have gizzards. And I don't even know what gizzards are.
Isn't it like the hanging thing from the neck?
Oh, dear God.
I don't know.
I used to get the mushrooms there. Delicious. But every now and then you'd get something that wasn't a mushroom in the mushrooms.
And it was probably a gizzard.
Yeah.
Or a liver.
You're ruining my day.
I know, I'm trying. So I'm going to say the first one.
The creamy peri-peri chicken livers?
Yeah, I just have to go with Chicago. That can't be.
Can't be?
No.
So you're good with the creamy peri-peri chicken livers.
Ugh.
Despite the fact that creamy and peri-peri don't seem like a thing to me. Like, have you had peri-peri stuff? It's usually kind of bright and citrusy.
I've never had peri peri stuff.
Oh, okay. It's good.
Okay.
All right. So, creamy peri peri chicken livers, sweet chili chicken schnitzel, the Chicago style hot dog. You say Chicago style hot dog
Yeah.
is the fake?
Yeah.
This is for the win.
I know.
You sticking with it?
I'm sticking with it.
You're right.
Oh.
There you go.
I'm like, that just seems really obvious.
I'm signing this for you.
I got it.
Oh, it's on camera. This is the first time ever anyone would have seen me signing that for you. We were bad at having a camera in here, talking about other people, swearing.
I know.
Me talking about business.
I know.
Yeah. Terrible stuff.
At least I didn't like cough or do anything, pick my nose. I don't know.
I got my test car list for the next month. Kind of excited.
Okay.
I'll be driving a Ram RHO.
Ooh.
Wanted to drive that.
Yes.
And then the surprisingly good and probably not possible to bring in for much longer, Lincoln Nautilus.
Oh, yeah.
And that is built in China to Chinese standards. And the interesting thing about Chinese Lincolns, and this was true of when Cadillac was bringing in a car from China too, Lincoln and Cadillac kind of play to a slightly higher trim level standard, like a luxury standard than they do in the U.S., even higher. So those cars are very nice inside.
Well, I love the screen that goes like all across the top.
Yeah, talk about that because it's fascinating.
So they have this new gauge cluster info screen, and I don't want to call it infotainment because you can't like really mess with it necessarily while you're driving, but it's this visual screen that goes all the way from windshield to windshield edge. Above
the stuff that you would normally interface with. Like, I don't think any of that's touchscreen at all.
No.
It's just stuff you can put there. And I think you put 4 different pieces.
It's 4.
So I put an analog clock on the one far away. And then I usually have the music I'm listening to next to it, which is kind of cool. And I don't remember what I did with the other 3. But it looks great. And I think the tricky part of this from a design engineering perspective was putting this in the right place so that it's eye level, doesn't interfere with your view out of the car, and is sufficiently above, but not uncomfortably above, the stuff you do interact with.
Right. And that it's not too bright.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And not too bright because you need to look out of those windows. So the application is spectacular.
Yeah.
It seems like there's so many opportunities to have screwed that up.
They did not.
No. Oh, and you can use it as a head-up display.
Yeah.
So you can put something in front of you, too. Yeah.
Well, your gauge cluster is in front of you.
Yeah.
That doesn't change. But you can change, like, the map. You can change, like, the like your trip information. You can change the clock. Like, there's the weather you can put up there. So there's different things you can put up there. And there's, like, a little central screen on the center stack that you can kind of flip things up in.
It would be cool. They won't do this, but some guys would appreciate like a pinup girl option from maybe the center one, but that won't happen.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Doesn't have to be, in poor taste.
Maybe it could be like you would be able to upload the picture of your choice and put it there. So you could be in control of that.
You want pictures plural.
Do you?
Yeah. We had a long-term, I think it was a Dodge Grand Caravan. Very, very much in the early days of that sort of thing. And you could upload pictures into the system. And I kept doing that. No one would ever comment on it. I had a picture of a prawn. I have a picture of a guy, Rick, who used to work for us. I had his picture going by after the prawn.
Okay. Were you saying that he was short?
No, but prawnish.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
All right, guess what we did?
We had some really good conversations. That is what we did.
Fun episode.
Yes.
Big thanks to James McKay of comparethemarket.com.au.
Yes.
That's a lot. We will link to that. So check us out on Facebook. I will link that independently. It'll also be in our show notes. Thank you, Jill.
Yeah.
Thanks to the producer, Randy, and the good folks here at TalkZone. And if you can, be sure to check out the Chicago Auto Show.
Yes.
We will be talking about that a little bit next week. Also, it looks like we're probably going to be talking about that, you and I both, with Steve and Johnny.
Yes.
Probably next Saturday.
Yes.
So listen to that. All right, let's talk more about cars again.
Next week.
Ugh.
I'm like, it looks like microphones are still working. It looks like the camera is still on.
What is with videos now where people hold these?
I don't know.
It's really weird.
It is weird. Let's see. I will stop it, and here's to hoping. We'll see what happened.